Alaska ASMR.
Alright, what's up guys? This is Jay with Alaska ASMR. I'm just going to do a quick video today. I'm going to do the brown bag ASMR. And so yeah, I'll grab the brown bag and we'll take a look at what we got inside. Nice crinkles going for you. So this brown bag is kind of a random and weird one, but I figured it was already in a brown bag, and sorry about the whizzing and whirring of my computer, but these are what I went and picked up so I could add to my field med kit. I do archaeology field work, and there's times where I'm away from home for a really long time, and I go out, I'm in the middle of nowhere working, so you need to have a good med kit. And I think another video I'll do is I'll do my med kit. I actually had an idea a while back when I was out there to do like a what's in my bag kind of video, but a manly version. So I might do that. That would be one of them. But I think the next video, and there goes my fridge. I'm in a small apartment, guys, so I don't have a whole lot of options, and you might actually even be able to hear my upstairs neighbor. I think he's watching TV. I'm watching TV too. Watching the Detroit Lions versus the Seattle Seahawks. Hopefully the Seahawks lose. But I'll do a video. Yeah, of my med kit, that'd be a cool one. And then hopefully eventually of my field pack, and maybe even my field gear, what I use out there. But we'll do this one. This is brown bag ASMR. It's a little weird. I have an inhaler and 2 EpiPens in here. So, this is my inhaler. I don't really use it often, but you always want to keep it with you. I actually have multiple of these. I have like 4 of them. Keep one in my truck, one in my backpack, one here obviously, and then when I go and do work, when I'm out in the field, yeah, I carry one in my medical kit in my pack, and then I carry one in my pocket that's easy access. I've always had asthma. Luckily, it's not that bad. I used my inhaler. Sorry, that's all, guys. I think I only used it twice this season, and I was sick. I got really sick. I got a bad head cold that turned into a chest cold, and then I had allergies acting up. But that was the first time I used my inhaler, and for a year. And the funny thing about my asthma, well, it's not really funny, it's common, but there's different triggers, right? And some, like cats, I'm allergic to cats, and if I'm around, some cats are worse than others. And I know a lot of people think it's the dander and the fur, but it has to do with the enzymes of the cat. And so different cats vary, but I do notice that like short, hard-haired cats give me the most problems with allergies and with asthma. What else? Mold, obviously. Any kind of respiratory issue will enhance my asthma. But the worst one is emotions. When I have a very sudden flash of emotion, typically anger, or I want to say sadness, but I usually, deep on the things that have triggered me, the sadness was paired with anger, frustration, and it has to be very, very strong and quick. And I used to have the most problems when I played football. I was very passionate and very invested. And it took me, when I was younger, if I messed up a play, or if we messed up a play, I would get very angry, and I'd flare up and have an asthma attack. And from a young age, I had to learn to control my emotions, specifically for asthma, because my attacks were getting pretty bad. When I was in high school, I started doing allergy shots with the grasses and pollens and trees. And yeah, along with managing anger and my emotions, it seemed to help. I did another video, I'll post a link on here, about grounding, kind of grounding your emotions and taking a break and calming down. So I'll add a link to here, or I'll do an annotation and check that out. But that paired with, all the other stuff and good exercise. I'm a bigger guy, but I like to do some cardio. I like to lift weights a lot, play football or basketball. So if you stay active, it tends to help a lot. So that's my asthma story and background. So the other thing that I have in my bag EpiPens. These are important to have if you're going to be traveling, and I think a lot of people who don't know what they're allergic to travel a lot without these, and I think that it could be scary. People can get allergies, and you can go to anaphylaxis, and it's when everything swells up from an allergic reaction. And for me, I just got these today actually, and I did a whole field season without them, which was, I don't want to say scary. We had another guy had really bad asthma and bad peanut allergy, so he carried 4 of these things. And he was just like, hey, if anybody needs this, let me know. I have access to my EpiPens. And I was like, why the hell am I not carrying EpiPens? I could find something I'm allergic to, and I never had exposure to it. Or some people develop food allergies later in life. My cousin developed a peanut allergy. And I think he was like 23 or 24 when it first started happening. Prior to that, he ate all the peanuts he wanted, all the almonds, all nuts. Now, if he smells it, if it's close enough, he can get a really bad reaction. And you never know if that's going to happen or not. And if you guys ever do traveling or do field work where you're away, in my type of field work, sometimes we have what is called a wilderness survival specialist, and they have some medical things to use and training. Specifically, other times on smaller projects, we don't have those people. We just have our medical training and our med kits that we make ourselves, which can be very scary. So I'm adding, this is my first, I've done other archaeology projects, but this last season was my first big season up here in Alaska. And so I'm learning and I'm adding, how I want to customize my pack and how I need to make my med kit for me, because a lot of the times I'm far away from our emergency specialist or med guy. He's not a medic, but essentially that's what he is. But, I could be anywhere from 50 to 100 meters away from him, and if something's happening fast, I need to be able to react in the right way. So if you have the resources, I would recommend getting an EpiPen, and I would also recommend multiple. Okay, so when you have an allergic reaction, you use one of these, and it shoots you with epinephrine and I think Benadryl or whatever. Those might be the generic names of them, or that might be exactly what's in here. But typically, a pen will work from 15 to 20 minutes, maybe in half an hour. So, and a lot of times if it's really bad, if you're anaphylactic, it's not going to go away that fast. So then it's good to have a backup pen so you can shoot it again and wait for help or get help. In our situations, we have about an hour. If you have the two pens, you have about an hour before the real medic shows up. So sorry about that, I got my camera turned off. And like I was saying, each one of these pens typically last about 30 minutes, or we were taught that in training. And so if you have two of them, you have about an hour until, you really need to get some help. So always have them in pairs if you can. If you have the resources, do it. Like I said, the guy I worked with had 4 of them. But so there's 2 of them here, and they have instructions when you, I keep hitting everything, I'm sorry guys, but there's the instructions. And then one thing that comes with it is a trainer pen. And there's paperwork in there, and it shows you how to do it and train it. So one time I had multiple trainings on how to use these and use them for other people. And they gave us the same kind of trainer. And I was leaving my desk at my old job, and one of my buddies who worked maintenance was carrying boxes out. And I walked by, and I was like, dude, look, I found my EpiPen. And he was like, what? Where was it? And I was like, it was someone, I lost it. Somebody put it on my desk. And he didn't know it was a trainer. And I went and jabbed him right in the belly. And he dropped the boxes and yelled. And I was cracking up laughing. It's kind of a mean joke. Someone did that to me too, so it's funny. But when I was picking these up today, the pharmacist was asking if I knew how to use them. And I was like, oh yeah, you just shoot it right in the kneecap, right? And her eyes got really big, and she was like, oh, no, that's not how they work. It was a bad joke, and I explained that I know how to use them. But yeah, that's what I have in the brown bag today. And I know it's a little weird, guys. It's kind of medical and kind of strange. But, if you're watching this and you don't have an EpiPen, or you don't know if you have allergies, get that checked out, especially if you do any traveling for business or pleasure. You never know. And if you're an asthmatic like me, make sure you have your inhaler, whether it's albuterol, Flovent, Advair. I don't even know if they make Advair anymore. It's kind of like a PSA. Always have your inhaler. You know, every year you read about people, and I think just last summer there was a young girl, she's in high school, was out camping, and she was asthmatic and didn't have an inhaler, and she died because she had a really severe asthma attack and couldn't do anything about it. So always have your inhaler if you need it. If you're an asthmatic, keep one in your car. Keep one, you know, have multiples as well. Another scary thing is sometimes these things fail, right? And if you look inside, can you see that? You see the little sprayer right there, the little hole. Sometimes those get clogged, or something gets in that part in there, the stem. Sometimes the stem right here breaks, and this is supposed to be your fail-safe, you know. And so keep these clean. And like when I use them, I'm out camping, hunting, fishing, doing field work. You can't always keep it clean. It's not going to happen. Right now, that's in my vest. My surveyor's vest is dirty, so I had to always wash it when I was out there. But a quick example is my buddy Tom, who I was working with, he was having an asthma attack, went and grabbed his inhaler, and it wouldn't work. And now he carries 2 inhalers, and I had 2 inhalers, so everything would have turned out fine. But that's a prime example of having backups. Same reason why you have 2 EpiPens. One might not work, or you might go through them. Same thing with inhalers. One might not work, or it might be empty and you didn't realize it. So I just wanted to share those with you guys. And check out my channel. Check out the videos. Like them. Comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, and if you want, you can message me. You know, if you have requests or questions. I have a little bit more time now that I'm done with my season, so I'm looking to put a lot more videos out. You know, leave some constructive criticism or leave some requests. We'll see what we can do. So have a good day, have a good night, and have a good afternoon, morning, whatever you're doing. Make sure it's good. Keep calm and tingle on, my friends.